Coins are far more than just small, round pieces of metal used for buying and selling goods. They are, in fact, miniature historical documents, stamped with the symbols of power, belief, and the identity of the people who made them. Each one tells a story about a specific moment in time, a particular ruler, a significant event. To trace the history of Spain through its coinage is to embark on a fascinating journey spanning more than 2.5 millennia. It begins with the simple silver pieces of Greek traders and ends with the sophisticated commemorative euros of today. This timeline in metal reveals the rise and fall of empires, the clash of cultures, and the forging of a modern European nation. The story begins around the 6th century BCE on the sun-drenched coasts of the Iberian Peninsula. It winds through the mighty Roman Empire. The narrative continues through the Visigothic kingdom, Al-Andalus, and the Christian Reconquista. Each period introduced its own coins, with unique designs, medals, and inscriptions that speak volumes about the era. By examining these artifacts, we see Spain built piece by piece, kingdom by kingdom, then a global empire under the Habsburgs and the Bourbons, its silver coins traveling across the world. Closer to our time, the coins tell more detailed and dramatic stories. The very first coins to circulate on the Iberian Peninsula were not made by native peoples, but by visitors from across the sea. Around the 6th century BCE, Greek colonists set up trading posts along the Mediterranean coast. The most important was Emporion, modern Empúries in Catalonia. Traders there minted silver drachmas to facilitate commerce. Those early coins were simple in design. One side often showed the head of a nymph or the head of a deity. The other side commonly showed Pegasus, the winged horse. These small silver pieces, dated c. 500 to 200 BCE, begin Spain's numismatic story. Local Iberian and Celtic tribes followed the Greek example and made coinage. Many were crude imitations of Greek or Carthaginian coins, but they soon developed distinct local styles. Typically bronze, they featured culturally meaningful designs, a simple male head with a distinctive hairstyle, images of bulls or boars. Inscriptions appear in the extinct Iberian script. These native coins offer a rare glimpse into pre-Roman cultures with few written records. The Romans arrived in 218 BCE during the Second Punic War, transforming the peninsula and its currency. Roman coinage became the transactional standard: the silver denarius, the bronze as, the gold aureus. Used everywhere, in military camps, in new cities like Tarraco and Emerita Augusta. Coins became instruments of Roman power. Uniform, reliable, carrying the emperor's portrait from Augustus to the final 5th century emperors. Roman mints on Spanish soil paid soldiers, funded aqueducts and roads, and stimulated the economy. When the Western Roman Empire crumbled in the 5th century CE, a Germanic tribe known as the Visigoths rose to power in Iberia. Their early coinage continued Roman types, gold solidi and smaller tremisses, often in the name of the Byzantine emperor in Constantinople, to ensure trust in trade. By the late 6th century, kings like Leovigild, 569–586, struck coins in their own names, declaring full independence, a major shift in Spanish money. Visigothic coins differ from Roman ones. Portraits are schematic and stylized, simple forward-facing busts with a cross, showing conversion to Catholic Christianity. Inscriptions in Latin, often crude lettering. Mostly small gold tremises. Silver and bronze are extremely rare. Minted in Toledo, Seville, and Merida, these coins bridge Rome and medieval Spain until the kingdom's collapse in the early 8th century. In 711 CE, a new power arrived from North Africa. Islamic armies crossed the Strait of Gibraltar, conquering most of the peninsula. They called it Al-Andalus. They introduced a different coinage, the gold dinar, the silver dirham. Portraits were abandoned, coins covered in Arabic calligraphy. Inscriptions were primarily religious, verses from the Quran, declarations of the oneness of God. and also carried the name of the Caliph or Emir, the Islamic date, and the mint city. Córdoba and Granada became major mints. Caliphate of Córdoba dinars, 10th century, were extremely pure and high quality, used in trade far beyond Al-Andalus. They showcase the wealth, artistry, and cultural sophistication of that civilization. Meanwhile, small Christian kingdoms began to form and expand in the mountainous north. Starting around the 11th century, kingdoms began to mint their own coins as a symbol of power. Leon, Castile, Aragon. One of the most enduring coin names from this period is the Maravédi, derived from the Almoravid dinars of Al-Andalus, which the Christians initially copied. At first, some Christian coins even included Arabic inscriptions alongside Latin ones. Over time, the designs became purely Christian, featuring crosses, castles, lions. As the Reconquista pushed southward, the coinage became more standardized and widespread. Rulers like Alfonso X of Castile, who reigned 1252 to 1284, reformed the currency system. Gold coins, such as the dobla, were introduced, often modeled on the Islamic dinar, but bearing the portraits of the Christian monarchs. Coins display the symbols of different kingdoms, the Castle of Castile and the Lion of Leon, later united in a shared coat of arms. The year 1469 was a pivotal moment, marked by the marriage of Isabella I of Castile and Ferdinand II of Aragon. This union laid the foundation for a unified Spain. They initiated a major currency reform in 1497, establishing the silver real as the basis of the new monetary system. Their coins famously displayed their joint portraits facing each other. Following the momentous events of 1492, the completion of the Reconquista and the voyage of Columbus, Spain was poised to become a global power. The vast amounts of gold and silver that would soon flow from the newly discovered Americas would forever change Spain's coinage and the world's economy. This flood of precious metal led to the creation of one of history's most iconic coins, the Real de a Ocho, or piece of 8, a large, heavy silver coin worth 8 reals. Minted from the late 15th century and throughout the Habsburg era in the 16th and 17th centuries under emperors like Charles I and Philip II, struck in massive quantities in mints in both Spain and the Americas, Mexico City, Potosí, Lima, bearing the Spanish coat of arms and the Pillars of Hercules. The piece of 8 became the first truly global currency, used for trade from Asia to the Americas for centuries. The piece of 8, really changed everything. The 19th century was a period of immense turmoil and transformation for Spain. Napoleonic invasion, the loss of most of its American colonies, and civil wars. Instability showed in its currency. The old system of reals was finally replaced in 1868 with a modern decimal currency, the peseta, divided into 100 centimos. Part of broader liberal reforms aligning Spain with Europe, the early peseta coins tell the story of chaos. Queen Isabella II, provisional government with Hispania, King Amadeo I, the brief First Spanish Republic, then the restored monarchy under Alfonso XII and Alfonso XIII. The 20th century began with the monarchy, but in 1931, King Alfonso XIII left, and the Second Spanish Republic was proclaimed, issuing new coins with an allegorical figure. Hope was cut short by the Spanish Civil War in 1936. Both Republican and nationalist sides issued money. Under siege, local notes and crude tokens appeared. After victory in 1939, Franco's authoritarian regime lasted until 1975. Coins bore his portrait and the Eagle of St. John, a stark numismatic reminder. The death of Francisco Franco in 1975 ushered in the transition to democracy. Franco's portrait was removed, replaced with King Juan Carlos I, who guided Spain toward a parliamentary monarchy. New pesetas featured the crown national coat of arms of the 1978 Constitution, circulating into the late century as Spain reintegrated with Europe. Commemorative pesetas marked major events, the 1982 FIFA World Cup, and in 1992, the Barcelona Olympics, Seville Expo 92, and the 500th anniversary of Columbus's voyage in silver and gold. On January 1, 2002, the peseta was replaced by the euro. While one side is common, each state designs its national side. Spain chose the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela for 1 to 5 cents, Miguel de Cervantes for 10 to 50 cents, and the monarch, King Juan Carlos I, and since 2015, King Felipe VI, for the 1 and 2 euro coins.